Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show that happens twice a week where two old guys and one rather wizened sage. Well, it's Other Shit Monday. We will be talking about like old games, Other Shit Monday, whatever we want to talk about. But today, we thought we would continue our Better Know a Guest Host series with today's guest host, Ian Chandler. So welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
To an All About You episode.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm on the spot. It's going to be really lackluster. I'm just going to tell you.
I've heard, because you haven't been on that many episodes, and the episodes you have been on have been pretty close together,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard as much positive feedback about a guest host so quickly from people.
Is that right?
So,
Well, I'm honored.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard good things too on Twitter. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, even when
I would never have imagined.
even when I
That's
got
awesome.
your Twitter handle wrong, I made you 5 years younger.
Some guy named Solo
Solo-
1978 got just a shitload of...
That account doesn't exist, so I need to make it real quick.
And I'm sitting at home like, fuck you all. No one likes me. No one wants to talk to me. I get it.
I think it's it was the Civil War soldier. I think really I think that was the best decision you ever saying yes, I will do that is the best decision you ever made on this show.
I've listened to that. I went back and listened to it, and I'm actually pretty glad I did it too.
It's like in my top 5 favorite moments of the show so far. Honestly,
That's awesome. I have another John Turley letter too. By the way, he's written me again. I don't know if
Excellent.
we'll read that one, and I don't want to
Right, sure.
Maybe we come up with
yeah.
different. I don't know. I don't do a lot of voices.
We'll read it as a Gamorrean.
I guess.
Yeah,
I assume
something
that's
like
what
that.
it sounds.
Yeah, we'll
like.
just put like blaster fire behind it. It'll be fine.
so before we dive into just these extraordinarily intimate details about all things Ian, I had like 3 things to talk about. So I'm your bearded host, Tyler, and one, I guess I was just talking to Dave.
Yeah. We do that.
I basically, like, the last 2 days, like, Halloween and everything, like, I've just cheat days. And not just, like, eat whatever I want cheat days, but, like, eating like I'm in college again cheat days. Because early yesterday, Ian, you've got me back on a just hamburgers kick. So I went there again trying to get their specialty burger once a week.
Were they out of it?
They were sold out, yeah.
Man, their specialty. I've never had their specialty burger, but they
Every
look
time
good.
I've had one, they're good.
Yeah.
We have lots of good stuff that we're usually out of. That should be their slogan.
Because I got cheeseburgers and then I had chicken tenders. So I was like, give me some chicken tenders. I feel like if I don't get them, then I'm just going to miss out. So I'm kind of full, but give me chicken tenders.
No, and by the way, thanks for sending me the picture of the chicken tender the day after I recorded. He goes and buys some chicken tenders and takes a close up of one and sends it to me.
And Ken is also eating them in the background.
Yeah, you got the last ones. It was you.
But I got cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, and then as I was driving home, I was like, oh, Sonic is doing 50-cent corn dogs. Not even crazy about those corn dogs, but that's like they're normally like $3 a pop. So I'd be silly to not get a corn dog. So I went and bought 4 corn dogs because I had $2 worth of change like in my console. So okay, went home, ate the hamburgers, ate most of the chicken tenders, and then went about my business for the rest of the day and night. And then today, slept, got up, did some things, and I was like, oh, I'm hungry. What am I gonna eat? Okay, well this food is still sitting there from yesterday. It was already cooked when I got it. It'd be fine. So then I ate like some day old chicken tenders and then just like 2 really cold corn dogs that were just like cardboardy.
Yeah.
And then I warmed up the rest and ate them just now. But yeah, like just like David and we were talking about in college, like order a pizza to game with, eat half the pizza, then go to bed, wake up, find pizza still sitting there, finish pizza.
I still do that.
fine.
Pizza exclusively. I'm not brave enough to do it with corn dogs. But yeah, pizza is one of those things I always feel guilty because I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be like, I fell asleep because I ate too much pizza.
Right.
I ate so much pizza that I had to go to sleep immediately.
It happened to me tonight, actually. I almost was late because I ate almost an entire pizza and then fell asleep on the couch and woke up 20 minutes before I was supposed to be here.
I always wake up the next morning and just eat the rest of that pizza. And every time I do, I'm like, this isn't safe. This is not safe.
It doesn't have that much meat on it. That'll be fine. Sure. It's cool.
To the point where I've actually, after I've eaten it, I don't look it up before I eat it, of course. But after I've eaten it, I've been like, how long is pizza good to sit out? And everyone on it is like, you got to refrigerate it after 2 hours because they talk about the bacterial growth after 2 hours is exponential. It's
penicillin.
Cool.
It's penicillin.
Which I'm allergic to.
Oh, even worse.
So that throwaway line in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they're eating moldy pizza and they say, penicillin. That has freaked me out since I saw it. So now I'm just crazy paranoid about eating anything that's been sitting.
Lift up the cheese and make sure there's nothing underneath there.
Another anecdote, as I was editing Zork, which just was increasingly complicated.
Thanks
shit
for
kept
doing
happening.
that, by the way.
You're welcome. But Kenna she wouldn't really nap when I was trying to do that, so I had TV on a distractor while I was editing. And I was out in the annex. I could not get Netflix or anything to work. So luckily, I downloaded the entire Muppet Babies collection a few months ago. So I pulled that up. She was semi-entertained by that. That kept her quiet, and still until I finished editing. And normally, the media streamer I have that takes all the stuff on my media PC on inside the house, and I can stream it out here to the annex. When a show's over, it'll kick back to a regular screen that will then go to a screensaver. But this episode, for some reason, didn't. It froze at the very end of Muppet Babies in the credits. That is an up-close shot of Animal as a baby. I assumed it was going to go to the screensaver. It did not. I just left it there. I just left it there on my big screen TV for a long time. So I know when I turn that off, I'm going to have a really weird burn-in of Animal from Muppet Babies on my TV.
A really awesome burn-in.
Because I saw that, I was like, that's kind of funny. Is that like Reddit? That one guy on Reddit who, when his friend was out of town, put in some gay porn, and when a big dick was on the screen, paused it, left the TV on for a week and a half. So he just had a permanent burn-in of a giant dick on his TV.
That's pretty easy to fix now, on modern TVs. Just do a big wash of white, and it'll take out whatever burn-in you've got.
Yep.
Okay. And then my last thing I wanted to talk about is more of an intro type thing. The strange power of, I guess, the phrase "we'll see."
Okay.
In that, I feel like it's more in our youth, but as one of the self-proclaimed back in high school, one of the nice guys, and girls don't like nice guys, and all the butthurt blah blah blah, which really just comes down to just having any confidence whatsoever.
Yeah.
It just happens when you're younger that assholes have way more confidence than quote unquote nice guys and friend zone guys and all that shit.
Yeah.
But of course, my confidence in dealing with women goes way up after I'm married because I'm not interested in being with anybody else, so I don't have to care. So I'm just more confident in everyday conversation because there's nothing on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I have a story about saying "we'll see" that would have never happened when I was younger, and then a friend of mine who used "we'll see" to a much bigger effect. But when we first got to seminary, I threw a big dinner for all of our friends that were in the building, and this couple that lived right above us, they came down and we're all eating together. I made a big Japanese buffet thing, and they're eating some gyoza that I made, and she's like, "Oh, this is so good, but don't think just because I really like it I'm going to show you my tits." Just out of the blue.
Well, give it back.
And I'm just I'm not even looking at her. I'm just, "We'll see." And then I look up at her and she has this expression of
her tits are out. I don't know what gyoza is, but it's on the tits.
She just has this weird, like, shocked / flattered expression of,
She heard it as a challenge.
yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
But for some reason, like, saying that with confidence, like, sort of does something. And another friend of mine who I won't name went on a date with a girl who he became serious with. And they're on their first date, and they're having like they have a great time, and they drive back to his house, and they're sitting in the car about to get out, and they're just talking before they go in where all his roommates and stuff are. And as they're talking, the detail of anal sex comes up, and she's talking about how gross she thinks it is, and she's just like, I'll never do it, I'm not interested in it. And then he gives the very cocky like, we'll see. And then she immediately did the exact same thing as that other girl did. And she has said then that mentally she was like, okay, this is the guy I'm going to lick my ass. So it worked out. So there you go.
I thought when you started telling the story, I was like, I immediately went to something entirely different and weirdly more innocent. I remember that was always the thing. We'll see. Really wasn't the phrase that we used, but it was maybe when I was a kid, and I would always ask for something that I wanted, and it was always maybe. It was never no. And to the point where, like, I remember saying something like, if it's not gonna happen, if we're not gonna go to McDonald's, I'd rather you say no.
Just say no.
I would rather you say no,
It was like
and I
that
could
for
just
me, too.
snuff out the hope that I might get chicken nuggets.
I was when I was growing up, it was that too. It was like maybe or we'll see. I got a little bit of both, really, but it was.
I don't know why every time my parents said we'll see, I took my shirt off. It's weird.
With what was it he said? The stuff he made.
Gyoza.
Gyoza, it's just dumpling.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now I probably have two sons, one of which is grown, and I probably pulled the we'll see or maybe on him. I'll have to corroborate that, but I'm sure I did.
Probably.
I guess it's just maybe it stems from a lack of desire to say no. Maybe you don't want to tell your kids no.
I'm going to be brutal.
You should.
Yeah. You should go like, no.
Cut it out. Just
no, not going to do it.
No.
I'm going to McDonald's.
You don't fucking deserve to go.
No, it's going to be more
I
like,
do because I'm a damn adult and I earn money. You'll eat whatever's in the refrigerator.
Well, my dad
You'll
actually,
eat this gyoza.
I spent the weekend in Nashville with Franklin with my dad and his wife, and my wife went, and we had a good time. But he was telling me a story about when I was probably 6. We lived in Madisonville, and he was the manager of the new jewelry store, the chain that he worked for. They just opened in the new mall that opened, and of course he worked hours and hours and hours, just all the time. And one time I was like, well, I told him I wanted him to stay home and stop working. He's like, okay. So he called off work. He said, I don't know when I'll be back. I will when I get back, whatever. But,
Yeah.
so day one comes and goes, and we play and we watch TV and we hang out and we do dad-son things, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. Day 2 comes around and I want to go to McDonald's. And he says, no, buddy, I'm sorry. We can't do McDonald's. I'm not working. You got to have money to go to McDonald's. I'm not working. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. So we go back. He makes lunch. We have dad-son time. We do our thing. Third day, I ask again, I want to go to McDonald's. He's like, oh, I told you yesterday we can't do it. If we don't have any money, we can't go to McDonald's. And so I promptly requested he go back to work. It was decided at that point that my McDonald's fix was more important than fostering a strong relationship with my father. I got TV. I don't need you. Go to work. Bring me back some Happy Meals.
And a pack of smokes, please.
I did start young.
What's up, Internet? I am Dave, your bespectacled host, and I almost didn't make it here not because of a 3/4 eaten pizza, but because like an hour before we were supposed to record, maybe like an hour and a half, I was introduced for the very first time to Minecraft.
Uh-oh.
Holy shit.
I had a buddy trying to get me to play that now.
I realize that this is old hat at this point. Like every 7 and 8 year old knows everything there is to know about Minecraft. But my boss set up a server at work, and he sent me a text earlier on this afternoon saying, "Hey, the server's up." I was like, "All right, I guess looks like I'm buying this game finally." I didn't want to play the game alone because I don't know. I just felt like playing it by myself would be boring,
Right.
And so I hopped on, and like, wow, like immediately it's just like he and his son are playing, and like obviously they know what the fuck they're doing. Like I'm like, "Where are you guys?" And he's like, just there's a big mountain. Just head towards the big mountain." I'm like, okay. So I start walking towards the big mountain. They've already got like a house built with like a fence and like torches and shit. And I've got like this, I killed a cow on my way. I was like, there's a cow, got to punch it to death. So I punched this cow to death. And then like now I just had meat. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll use this meat as a weapon. So like I'm just walking towards this house, just killing things with meat. And then I type, I'm hurt. What do I need to do to heal? He's like, you need to eat something. So I'm like,
I have meat.
All right, I got this raw meat. I guess I'll just eat this raw meat. So I eat the raw meat. It heals me. I don't know. I felt like maybe I get sick or something. And then I go to the house, and they've got like a repair bench, and they've got like this work table. They know their shit. And I am like just wandering around, like just stumbling like into walls. And it's like they're like building this fence. They're like, we gotta get some hay so we can get these cows. We need to get carrots so we can lure pigs in here, and so we can get some livestock going. I'm like, have fun, guys. I see a squid. I'm gonna go shoot. So I just wander around, just killing things.
That's good. No, you're the adventurer. They're domestic.
I am the adventurer. That's right. So,
It's like Ultima.
oh man,
I used to craft in Ultima. I would spend all my time
all I did.
crafting.
that's what Tyler
Oh, I
did. Tyronius.
I never went into the field.
I had a couple of warrior characters, but most of the time I would spend, like, I'd have a boat and sail up north to the very top in the mountains, and had a script that would run my boat up and down the side of the mountain mining. And I'd come back and get ingots and make all. I was all about crafting. I could have done that exclusively and been perfectly happy with it.
Yeah, that's all I. Yeah, I'm 100% with you, man. That's all I gave a shit about. Josh and Dave are going like out on adventures, like come back with treasure, and I'm just like making fish steaks.
Yes,
That's it.
I just wanted to murder people.
Well,
That's all I wanted to do in that game.
You were one of those that had that was kind of what the fuck when they split into Trammel and Felucia.
Yeah.
I was all like, yay. I can go somewhere where I won't get ganked and
I get
PK'd by people like Dave.
I don't have to like it. I understand it.
But it was also nice having a bunch of PKers in the guild or whatever, because I never had to worry. If someone ever ganked me, it was wonderful because we played when we were at Apex. And it was wonderful because if I started getting ganked, all I'd have to do is just shout out literally in the room, hey, I'm over here by, Moonglow or whatever, and somebody's coming and attacking me. Dudes, everybody would stop what they were doing, log into Ultima and moongate the whole guild right on top of them. And the guy would be like, oh.
My favorite moment, I don't know who it was, but someone like really got under your skin, and we were working. And I remember you saying, okay, everyone put the phone on D&D and get your ass to Moonglow right now. I'm like, all right, finish up this phone call and put on Do Not Disturb, log in, and we're going to fuck this guy up for the next hour.
I know people. I know people. You don't just,
Yeah.
I give you fair warning.
No, you dropped the nuke on that guy.
You need to leave me alone or whatever. I don't even, I remember that happening, but I don't remember what it was over.
I don't either.
It
doesn't matter.
I get mad really easily.
It was glorious.
I have a horrible temper, but I do remember being like, all right, dude, that's it. I gave you fair warning. And just unleashed hell on them.
Man,
I sat back at my desk with my arms crossed. I didn't even participate because I think it was one of my crafters that was in, and I was just watching you guys slaughter this guy and loot him and throw in his stuff. That was always my favorite thing to do, is just
spread his belongings all around,
it all over the place.
Yeah.
I hope it was that guy who was always trying to leave work early that quit. Like he's like, I'm gonna get in on Ultima Online. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna get his ass. Oh man. All right. So could you give us your full name, Ian?
All three names, huh?
All three of them.
All right, here we go. I have the most British name ever.
I don't know that I know your middle name. That's weird.
It's Ian Jeffrey Chandler, and Jeffrey is spelled with G-E-O.
Oh my gosh.
I am
Geoffrey.
as British as they come.
Yeah.
But my family heritage is Scottish,
Yeah.
so go figure. Well, Scotch English, so I guess it's legit.
Do you like Scotch eggs a lot?
No, no, sir. Don't really like any Scotch.
I love a
food.
good
I love
Scotch
Scotch
egg.
eggs.
Yeah.
Not me.
So, Ian, but to your definition, what is a gamer? Have you listened to any interview episodes yet?
You know, I have not.
Okay. It's
been a long time.
Now, I will say when I started listening, it was almost 200 episodes in, and I haven't gone back to the back catalog and really listened to some of the old stuff. But no, everything I've listened to up to this point has either been part of the SNES list or the All Calls or the N64 list. I'm moving my way towards the current day, and then I'm going to go back and start. So I have not heard any of the interview shows.
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably for the
That's
best.
why you're here. Okay, good.
It's hard to say what I would really classify as a gamer because I'm really easy when it comes to stuff that I don't like to put labels on stuff like that because I have a lot of appreciation, respect for pretty much whatever. The only thing I don't like is the type of person who purposely trolls, who is like purposely aggressive and maybe purposely trying to ruin other people's fun.
Okay.
I know there's a place for that. I do know that there's
Ultima Online.
Ultima Online is really that place. But I don't know. The definition of a gamer is hard for me to say. My wife plays games on the iPad, and she probably spends more time on that iPad than I have cumulatively spent up to this point playing any other game, just because it's constant. You know, she's playing the dice with buddies or the whatever the game is that she's got going on today. She's in my mind, that is a gamer. That's someone who plays games. And I know that sounds silly, but I don't like I've never been a huge fan of the culture. And it's not because I have a problem with being really into something, because I'm absolutely right there with you. But I don't put any label on it, because there's different labels for it. Levels for it that don't. I don't think it can be classified. I don't know.
Yeah.
You like to play games, you're a gamer. Now, they're the ones that take it too seriously. I guess that's it. Is if for me, it would be just don't take it too seriously. Don't let it. I don't know. That's not fair either. I don't know.
There is a level of sort of like when you say gamer, it does bring up in a lot of people's minds the bro who spends way too much time on a first-person shooter and then just like gives you a hard time on Xbox and cheats, and there is that. So that is the negative side of that label that does exist when you say gamer.
I feel like that there is just that it's so important. Gaming is extremely important. It's what we have now that sort of, I've never tried to limit my children's time on video games, provided that they were doing the things that they needed to do for school or with their friends. And, I wanted them to be outside and have fun and do those normal things as well. But when it was time to game, it was time to game. And I'm 42. I think I'm 42. I can never remember how old I am, but
I'm having that problem too.
It's a legitimate thing. I think I'm 42, but I've been gaming since I was very young, like 8. I moved to Paducah when I was 8, and I got a Commodore 64, and I had an Atari 5200, and then it went into the Nintendos and on and on and on, and PC gaming and all that. I've been gaming my whole life, and I think it's important. And I think there's so much that can be taken from it, the stories and this show. Mm-hmm. I mean, that you have a show that's based on older video games, or that you could listen to anything. You could go onto Apple Music or iTunes or whatever and find 100 podcasts about video games. And people take this stuff really seriously, and taking it seriously and enjoying it is one thing. but taking it so seriously that it just dominates every facet of your life and you don't enjoy it, it is what kind of irritates me. I don't think there's a lot of room for that. You should play, you should do what you like to do and have a good time, not try to dominate the others like you were saying on the first-person shooters. Man, those guys are just... I've been playing first-person shooters for years and years and years, and that is the one kind of subculture that has never changed.
Ugh.
It's
tough.
funny how like,
That's why I'm so hesitant. I hardly ever do competitive anything.
well, and it's weird too because like each subculture kind of has their own
Yeah.
thing, and it's like because I know that fighting games have their own subculture, and it's viewed negatively quite frequently, like in the media, and I think rightfully so in a lot of cases, a lot of like women bashing, that kind of stuff, and same thing goes for like MOBAs and stuff like that. Like they kind of have their own like little niche. So I think that's interesting that it's kind of like gaming has become so big that it like gaming was kind of like a subculture,
Yeah.
and then now that has individual.
It has its own cliques,
yeah.
which is ironic because usually the gamers were all the clique
Right.
of their own, and now inside that there's all these cliques. And I play. I mentioned this before. I play CS:GO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive for the uninitiated, and I've been playing competitive, but God, I just have gotten so tired of the griefing and the trolling and the name calling, and it has just become this thing that it is it's like the third most popular game on Steam, the most played game on Steam.
I didn't know that.
And that's behind Dota 2 and League of Legends, I think.
Yeah, all three of those games are probably not games I'm ever going to play.
Yep.
I think
Not at all. Not at all.
so. Playing that, I played Counter-Strike when it was in beta, back when we
and I
played
did
it at
too,
Apex. And it's become this monster, and I really enjoy it. But the minute someone starts griefing me or trolling me or doing something like that and just purposely trying to take away from it for me, I don't have time for it anymore. And I work with some guys who play, and they play religiously, and they're pretty good. I mean, they're not like best of the best, but they're way better than me, and I try to play with them from time to time, but it's like being on the football team when you're maybe sort of decent at football.
Yeah.
And once in a while you get some killer plays. I'm like, well, maybe we need to let this guy play with us. But most of the time it's like, why the fuck do we let this guy play with us? And they don't really.
You can be the kicker, so you'll just sit over, just sit over there.
Exactly. They don't really keep it from me either. Like, we're not inviting you to play because you kind of suck at this. So I was like, well, all right, I get it. At least you're honest.
Man.
But when it gets to be too serious and it's not fun anymore, then I don't have time for it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I've got a question that I want to ask, and we don't normally ask this in interviews. I want to ask for extremely selfish reasons.
Do you think my dick's big?
Yeah, is this,
do you guys, what do you guys think?
Whoa.
on a scale of
It's pretty fucking big.
baby corn to banana? Double serving banana, you think? For a very selfish reason, I have to ask you this. You mentioned that you have two sons. Mm-hmm. When they were growing up, did you play games with them? Did you play video games with them?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Gage and I I played more with Gage than with Miles, and there's a whole situation where Miles hasn't lived with me for the better part of his life. His mother and I divorced. But when Miles comes down, when he would come down, we would play games. But when Gage was coming up, that was at the advent of the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and the N64 and all this stuff. And yes, we played a lot. A lot of times when he was a little guy and he couldn't play yet, he would watch. But as he grew up, and I actually grew up a little bit, we played together a lot. I encouraged it.
Yeah,
I would sit and it got to the point, of course, Gage got better at games than I'll ever be, and I would sit and watch him play games. It was just it was definitely part of that.
My headcanon is that Miles is named after Tails, and Gage is like, you just like really got on board with the N-Gage really early on. and after the Nokia N-Gage.
Well, no, actually, those two names came from. I'm also I used to be. I'm not so much an auto enthusiast. I used to race quarter mile and do autocross and stuff like that. And Gage, even though it's spelled Gage, is kind of like the gauge of Gage on a
Okay.
and Miles is
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
so
Actually very similar to Tails, because like Tails, like his full name is like Miles per hour.
Now,
Yep.
admittedly, I will admit Gage's name. I sort of retrofitted it into that because we heard Gage's name first on the movie Pet Sematary.
Okay.
The baby that
Yeah.
comes back to life after dying and kills his parents. Yeah.
Oh man,
really
we should have
taken.
finished that movie, I guess.
Apparently, Gage is also an old-fashioned term for pot, also.
Really?
as well.
I never heard that.
Yeah, me neither.
Real old, but take from it what you will.
Yeah.
Because God, I remember like when I first had a PC, my beautiful compact Presario, and really get into Duke Nukem, Quake, and feel like I was like, I'm so good. I'm good at these. I can do this. What's next? What's this Unreal Tournament? I can run that. Okay, cool. Unreal Tournament. All right, dead. I'm pretty good. I mean, my internet connection probably just like
Yeah, it was
probably
lag. It
fucked
was
up.
lag.
I'm gonna get there. Dead. Like, yeah, just I mean, hardly like 30 seconds in, I can't even play this fucking game. And that was the point. I think I was a sophomore in high school. I think a sophomore or a junior, and that was like, okay, I'm done with playing competitive first-person shooter games forever.
Unreal Tournament
Forever.
was kind of crazy town, because I remember playing that one, and like I remember, like I felt like I was pretty good at Quake 2 and Counter Strike, and I remember playing Unreal Tournament and thinking, this game is bonkers because it's like everyone's just running around. Like I mean, it was like deathmatch. Triple extreme. I mean, it was crazy how many people were there, and it's like there's no strategy. There's I mean, like it was the fucking Wild West of shooters. I feel like
You kill or you die.
yeah. And like there's a dude standing at spawn point, just
Oh, yeah.
just waiting
Spawn
for you.
camp.
Like the
Yeah.
Conan MMO where
Yeah,
like that was just like gridlock. No one could play it because whoever got there first would then camp all the new player spawn points. Soon as they come out of tutorial, dead.
yeah.
Dead.
Star
Welcome.
Wars Galaxies was like that too.
Oh man.
I dropped off the bus on Star Wars Galaxies onto like Tatooine or something.
Yeah.
Dead.
Baru.
It was as if it was like Neil Armstrong, where steps off the ship onto the moon and someone snipes him.
I don't understand why these MMOs like didn't just like set you up in town or something.
I don't know.
Like I don't understand why they just drop you off, and it's almost like they're trying to set a tone where it's like, welcome to our MMO, fucker.
You're gonna hate it.
we already got your money.
If you can survive the next 5 minutes, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make the next 5 minutes a living hell for you.
Even if you can't, we're gonna go free to play in 2 months.
It's the equivalent of paying at the first drive-through window and then the fuck up your order at the second window. It's fine. So, but whenever you mentioned you had your Commodore 64. I guess I should also ask, because I don't normally ask, like, so you consider yourself a gamer. You would apply
Absolutely.
that tag to yourself.
Absolutely.
But like, were your parents like, this looks cool, let's get this for you? Or did you like see it somewhere and want to get it? Like, where did it start for you? Why did you?
Well, I went to arcades a lot when I was little because that was still a thing. And actually, my father, again, I bring up my dad, but he was like unbelievably good at Ms. Pac-Man. He was that guy. And this is a fully grown man working at the Michelson Jewelers, and he would take his lunch break, go get a slice, go down to the arcade, drop 1 quarter into Miss Pac-Man, and play it for the rest of his lunch hour on 1 quarter.
Nice.
And he'd have the people standing around watching him, and I'm always standing there like, yeah, that's my dad. Dude every single time would walk away from 100 lives. You know, I mean, he'd have to go back to work, and in that point he'd be like, well, I'm gonna, because I'd go and hang out with him like on a Saturday or something. He'd take me to the mall with him, which is where it was, and just let me run. I had the run of that place. I used to live at the mall. I was one of the original mall rats.
Yeah.
But he'd be like, well, dude, I got to go back to work. I got to do my thing. My lunch hour's over. He's like, take over. Well, this is he's at like level 2000. This Pac-Man is literally a yellow blur. And I'm like, I got nothing. I'm like, dead. Fuck you, Pinky. Dead. But I would watch him play, and he was always into little gadgets. He had a Game Boy. He played his Tetris and had his stuff that he liked. But I would bring it up. I'd see a commercial for it or whatever. He wanted me to be in the know, as they say, with tech. And that's, I think he probably bought the Commodore 64 for me as an educational tool.
Yeah.
Which I never used it for that purpose.
Sure.
I did actually do my typing. I learned how to type on that thing. Mavis Beacon, everybody.
Yeah.
Mavis Beacon taught me I can type like the wind now, thanks to Mavis Beacon and the Commodore 64. But he wanted it to be an educational tool, but it turned into a gaming tool, and he knew at that point, every year, if there was a console, if there was a thing, I would ask for it, and Santa would bring it to me. And I was an only child, fortunately, so I didn't have to share with anybody,
When did you stop believing in Santa Claus?
Wait, why? Why do you ask? Because
I need those consoles to keep coming in, baby.
what do you mean believing in Santa Claus, Tyler?
I hope your dad still saves up and sends you like PlayStation 4. I don't want to break his heart. He still believes.
I don't even remember when that. I don't even remember when that happened. Honestly,
Yeah.
I kind of figured it out. This was not one of those. I'm pretty dry. I get things. I figured. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Yep, that makes sense. That's cool.
Were you like that
Good on
about
you,
church?
Dad. Huh?
Were you like that about church? Are you a religious person?
I was brought up in a, I wouldn't say religious household, but we were brought up Southern Baptist.
You bear the same scars I do.
I've been in all the religions. I was Southern Baptist for most of my life, and then I went to Catholic school because my mother was a teacher there.
Oh man!
So I'm what I call
unfortunate
diet,
to be raised Southern Baptist
diet
to go to Catholic
Catholicism is what I call it, because I pretty much knew everything there was to know about being Catholic without actually going and being confirmed and whatnot. And then when my second wife and I were married, she's Episcopal, and it was strange because we got married at Grace Episcopal, and beautiful church. Is that your church?
That's where Meg was the priest.
Okay.
Yeah, my last Sunday is next Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, beautiful place. And my wife had been a member there, or ex-wife now, soon-to-be wife at the time was a member there. She wanted to get married in the church. This was during Father Yeager's tenure. And so we went to the inevitable counseling classes and whatnot beforehand. And
Yeah, I do those.
he said, after having gone through Catholic school for as long as I did, I was in Catholic school for 3 or 4 years, which was mass every day and every day mass before school. I can still go through the motions in a Catholic mass to this day. When John Turley got married, I went through the mass. We went to the mass. I was all over it. I knew every response. I knew everything still. But he said, well, what faith are you? I said, I gave him kind of the same story I'm giving you. I'm like, do I need to do any sort of thing to convert or whatever? He's like, nope, you're Episcopal now. And I'm like, wow, if Catholicism was only so easy. But
no, God, worship with God is supposed to be like really hard, like just bitterly hard and make you carry like a seed of anger for the rest of your life.
It does. They do kind of drum that into you a little bit, but there wasn't any kind of, going back to the original question, there wasn't any reason for it. The Santa thing, they played it up. I had completely and totally believed in it, and then one day I think I just figured it out. Yeah. I don't know if I caught him putting stuff out or what it was, but just like, I get it. Yeah. I know now. Now I'm in on. Maybe I felt good about it because now I'm in on the secret. Now I know stuff that other kids don't know.
That was pretty naive.
Yeah?
Yeah. I remember asking about it, and I was pretty young, and I learned a really valuable lesson. I learned that when my father answers a question with a question, which is, "Are you sure you want to know?" that I need
probably
to back the fuck up. I need to back up. Just be like, all right, that's an indicator that I need to.
Your dad is like installing a Windows file.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I remember that clearly, and I remember being like, yeah, I want to know. I didn't want to know. It was one of those things where it's like all the kids on the school bus. It was around Christmas time, like all the kids on the school bus. There was a big school bus debate on the reality of things. And yeah, so I figured I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to ask an adult.
I think that would be an excellent YouTube video to make or something, having a bunch of kids debating one, like the Republican debate or something about the existence of Santa and the Easter Bunny.
See,
have one side that completely 100% guarantee believes in it, and the other's like, no, listen, I'm going to cite my reasons for why you're wrong.
You mentioned the Easter Bunny, which I think it was just watershed. Where it's like when I found that out, I was like, just one right after the other. What about this one? Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy. Come on, give me something. Give me something to work with.
Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, Santa, Jesus. Anybody? Give me something. Because I remember I found out about Santa. Like I put it together about the same time that Cockmaster Shake did, and him and I talking about it. He went your route and basically talked to his mom about it. And his mom was like, "No, Santa's not real." And he's an only child.
Spoilers.
So he went from getting spoilers. He went from getting 2 presents to just getting 1 present.
Oh,
See, now
Later.
that's bullshit.
That's what scared me. So I pretended until I was like 15 that I was like, "Yeah, Santa Claus."
Come on. We got cookies and milk.
It's December 23rd. I haven't written my letter to Santa yet. Excuse me, Dad.
Here, let me just send out a quick email to Santa. CC Mom.
Here, I've this Toys R Us catalog. I circled everything in it. I don't know what most of it is, but I want it. Here, see Santa gets this. Thank you. What would you say? Series as a whole counts, not individual games. But what are your top 5 favorite games? Series, whatever included.
Okay. Gosh, man, I have not prepared for any of these questions. I guess I should have been. First and foremost, I think the one that really still that I would love to play still that I don't anymore is Ultima Online. I really, really, really had a good time playing that game, and it stuck with me to this day. I still get sort of the Jones for that game. It's the first MMO I ever played. I had no concept of even what that was. Of course, there weren't really any. If there were, I didn't play them. But
There were. I mean,
they weren't nearly as
they weren't popular
in-depth.
at all.
So I'm gonna say that I'm a huge fan of. I do love Counter-Strike, even though it's gotten to be sort of a pain in the ass to play. Bioshock.
Yeah, good man.
Big, huge Bioshock fan. Rapture was my home away from home. I lived in Rapture, and I love it. And I'm actually getting ready to start it again and play all the way through all 3 of them. Oh, in the episode where
Jacob and Galen were on?
yes,
Popcorns and apple.
Yeah.
yes, popcorn and apples. That's right. They were talking about it, and I could really relate to that conversation. I really wish I could have been at least in the room for that conversation, so I could just nod my head, so I could say, yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. Everything you just said, and even she said, I like Bioshock 2. I did as well. I liked it as well. But I just think the whole series was really, really special.
I mean, if you delve way back in, we did one episode over Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite.
Oh, yeah?
But our audio was awful.
Yeah.
It sounds like we all just got in a bathysphere and decided to record in it. So people like it's good content, but it's hard to listen to.
I think it's like episode 30.
Yeah, it's really
It's
early.
Way back
Yeah.
there. Wow.
We recorded it in Jacob's apartment in Atlanta, and I was in a bad mood because like we moved all our equipment with us, and like almost all of it broke. So it seemed like great. Got to set this up on. We had the mics on books, on stacks
just
of
huge
books.
stacks of books. Yeah.
Wow.
It was bad. It was bad.
Hey, you got to start somewhere. Zelda, of course. Specifically, you'd think I'd say Ocarina, but it's actually Wind Waker for me. It was probably my favorite Zelda. And I may have stated that Ocarina was my favorite Zelda at one point in the past, but the more I think about it, the more I felt that Wind Waker was a more rewarding game for me.
It sounds like they're close. Like
They're not too far.
yeah, it sounds like they're close. If you're kind of like,
I mean, graphically,
Blurring
obviously
lines
they're
are-
completely different, and it takes place in a different universe, but it's all sort of the same. They all tie in eventually.
have you played the HD remake of Wind Waker?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
yeah. I'm
just-
thinking about picking that up maybe eventually.
I don't
got
know
it,
if
you
it's
can borrow
worth
it.
$50 or whatever they charge.
Oh, is
for
that
it.
how much
It's
they're-
full price?
It's full retail. Yeah.
Never mind. I was hoping I could pick it up for like $15.
Not gonna
You
happen.
should be able to, but
Yeah.
no, it's full retail.
I'm
Yeah.
pass.
It is beautiful. It works really well, and actually, there's some added benefit because now the Wii U controller with the touchscreen gives you access to the maps down here where you can look at stuff and interface with like Tingle and stuff like that easier. So they've enhanced it, and it's really nice. I don't think it's worth $50.
I haven't played it, and I agree with you.
Yeah, and then of course the Mario Legacy. I'm a big fan of Mario platformers. I just like platformers in general.
Have
It's
you
kinda my
played
thing.
Mario Maker yet?
No, I do not have a Wii U anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I cannot play it right now. But I've got I played the last whatever Mario game came with the Wii U. I really enjoyed it. Pretty much any platformer. I'm scared of the Mario Maker. I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun concept, but I don't think I'd be very good at it.
Yeah.
I might spend a lot of time making levels and trying to, but I wouldn't want to play other people's levels.
See, that's what I thought too. I thought I was going to be all about making levels. Like I thought that was going to be my thing. And then it like turns out I played someone's level and I was like, that was easy. Next.
So you're trying to find one, you're trying to best them.
Yeah, and like what's really cool is when you find like you can follow people on there. So like if you find someone who made a map that's because I like playing the maps that are designed that are like in the classic style of Mario. They don't have all kinds of crazy stuff happening. So like I'll find someone who's made a really good one, and it's like, well, let me check out all of theirs. So it's really cool.
And I have to throw one more in there that was just for. I have a lot of favorite games because again, I kind of go all over the place. I don't really have a specific. There's two specifically. You brought up Duke Nukem. Probably my all-time favorite shooter, and our Dane and I, or Dane, our Dane,
Sex Whale.
yeah, Sex Whale, my boy Dane. We used to play Duke Nukem together, and I lived in Murray, and I actually bought you didn't have a multiplayer Duke Nukem, you had one-on-one Duke Nukem, and unless you were playing on a LAN. I think you could play on a LAN, but we didn't have that, and I lived in Murray, he lived in Paducah, and I actually bought the thing where you could call the Paducah local area calling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the two
Eric
of us-
calling. Yeah.
So the two of us could play Duke Nukem over the modem together, and he and I would link up our modems, and we'd play, and we built levels, and we would play each other constantly.
I forgot about
Yeah.
the level building,
And it was
aspect
it
of
was
that.
really fun. It was hard. It was not a very good interface, but it was like not good Minecraft. The same sort of look.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm only an hour in,
But,
I'm giving a side by side comparison with Duke Nukem 3D. Next episode.
The other one was Quake 2, and we've talked briefly about Quake
Yeah.
2. We had our clan, and we were like pretty high ranked up there. Played a lot of that, but I think that the games that stuck with me the most are the ones that I had fun playing with other people, and a lot of that happened at Apex. There was a lot of game camaraderie going on there.
It's impossible to explain that place and how awesome that place was,
It was amazing.
and how I will never have a job that was like that ever again.
There will never be another. It's unlikely that we had what we had.
Dude,
We shouldn't have. Nobody should have that much fun at work.
No one should enjoy going to work.
Nobody should. Especially not as much as we did. We had the run of the place.
I couldn't wait to get there, and I didn't want to leave.
Exactly. It was like going to Disney World every day.
Yeah.
I remember once when we were in, we had that little office. I don't think you were there yet because you came at the bigger building. You came in the
Yeah,
big building.
the bunker.
before that, we were in this little office downtown, all the way downtown on near 3rd Street. It's right across from Allen Music.
Okay.
There's a bunch of lawyers' offices there now.
Yeah.
Apex's offices were in that. And we had like 3 desks crammed into this one room for the tech support department, which is me and 2 other guys. And then our bosses, Jay and Jeff, were in an adjoining room. There was a door for each of them, and they were in this other room. And we would play Quake online while we were talking to customers, walking through, clicking on things, dial-up networking, go to this. But I'm just playing this whole time. So we just got so good at doing it. And we were playing this one time, and I will never forget this. I had a really intense game going, and I'm on the phone with a customer, and I've got the flag, and I'm running around the level trying to get back. It was capture the flag. That was our thing, and obviously the object is you've got the flag. You got to run back and touch. You've got the enemy flag. You've got to run back and touch your flag to score, and then the game round resets, and you start over. Well, I'm running all over the place trying to get back to base, but I'm not fully engaged in this thing, and I'm talking to the customer. And Jeff, one of the owners, is playing in this game, and he is defending our flag and trying to keep them from taking our flag while I'm getting back to return it. And the guy would run into our base and grab the flag, and he'd kill him and touch the flag and put it back on the base. And this went on for like 10 minutes. Finally, he comes out. He kicks the door of his office open, and he walks up to me in full. There was no muting. There was nothing. I know this customer heard this. He said, "Put that goddamn customer on hold and capture the fucking flag." And I was like, "Ma'am, could I put you on hold for just a minute?" So I put him on hold, and I captured the flag, and I'm glad
the precedent was set for the rest of the tenure you're working there.
Oh, it was wonderful. And this was my boss. This was the guy that owned the company. This is his lifeline, his world. And he tells me, I know what I'm paying you to do, and right now I'm paying you to capture the fucking flag. That's why those things stick with me. So that's why I like the things that I like, is those experiences like that are good stories to tell.
Good stories to tell. I would be willing to bet that when you lost virginity, that is a good story.
When I lost mine?
Yes.
No. Well, I mean, maybe, I guess. But I'm not going to tell it.
Come on. Have you ever been in a 3-way?
My son listens to this show.
Oh. Okay, so have you ever been in a gangbang then?
I'll let him answer that. No. I do. I tend to not be super conservative. I'm as raunchy as the next guy. Believe me, I got plenty of stories, but my son listens to the show. I have to be careful when it comes to stuff like that. I don't, because
or replace your name with something like John Turley.
It's funny that I just listened to the episode where I'm in the middle of the Jorge and Meg All Calls show from a few weeks
Our
back.
longest show.
Yeah.
And it was the guy called in with the question of what's the one thing your family has said that you could want to unhear, or that you, whatever. And I got to thinking about that on the way here. I'm listening to that thinking, I should probably keep my responses to certain things to a minimum, because my son may have hundreds of those if I'm not careful. There's this show called TADPOG, and my dad...
He talked about that one time he banged like 3 strippers on a weekend now. One of them tried to be my mom. I didn't know. I wish I didn't do it. Oh, man. What are some games that you've played? Like, maybe you expected to like them. Maybe they were hyped up. When you sat down and played them, you're like, oh, God, I fucking hate this shit.
Lara Croft of any flavor.
Okay.
I never got that. I will say, though, that the more recent, the rebooted Lara Croft, the one on Xbox 360 is a few years back, I guess. That one was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, but some of the original like Lara Croft games and stuff I didn't care for. And I've got one this is the thing I don't understand. This is, I guess, another one of those gaming subcultures I will never be able to figure out. And I'm thinking you guys will probably relate to this too. Is like Madden football.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd think that was the greatest thing ever invented by humans. Period. The way this game is played, and I mean, it's people that I would not consider to be anywhere in even close to my league, in my zip code of gaming knowledge and prowess and the things that I can do. Some of these D-bags can sit down and play Madden and make me look like I've never held a game controller in my life.
Yeah.
And I like football. I mean, I watch football, I understand it, and I know the rules and everything else, but for some reason I have never understood why the hell Madden football is such a big damn deal.
What's the last?
I get it.
What's the last Madden you've played? It's been a really long time since I played a Madden football game.
Madden 94 for the SNES list.
I gave up a long time. I think I probably tried to play whatever the most recent was on Xbox 360 when I had one. I think I got it. I bought a bunch of games off of some Facebook group or something, local for sale group or something.
Okay.
And it had that in there. I was like, this has got to, maybe I won't suck at this because I've sucked at all the other Maddens. Why would I? Maybe I won't suck at this one. I did.
I get it.
Terrible.
For some reason, something possessed me to buy MLB The Show when I had a 360. And
I remember seeing it on your shelf and being very confused.
yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? I used to enjoy a baseball game that I had on my Game Boy. I bet baseball games haven't changed that much.
Wrong.
Wow. Well, it was unplayable.
Does Nolan Ryan still play? I think I'd like to be a good Nolan Ryan.
I shouldn't say the game was unplayable. It was just it was like I got into a space shuttle and the guy was like, "Get us to the moon, please."
Okay.
All right, flip that. All right. Oh, okay.
The most fun I've ever had playing baseball on any console was Wii U or Wii Sports, where you could hit the home runs.
Yeah.
Man, I was good at that. Playing the regular baseball games or football games and then there was NBA Jam. I liked that one.
Yeah,
that
NBA
one was
Jam.
really aggressive. And was that the one where you go to do a dunk and it would go to a cut scene of you doing a dunk, or is that the right one? You'd do this stellar dunk and it would go to a cut scene of.
No, I don't remember that.
I'm not familiar.
I gotta look that up because it was really neat. It's like you do something to trigger it. It would show slides of these massive dunks,
Jacob will know what this game
Yeah.
is. But yeah,
I said
Jacob's the
NBA
basketball
Jam.
game guy.
But it may not be NBA Jam. I can't remember what it was. But that was pretty fun. But I'd say Madden is probably the thing that didn't live up to the hype for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
Man, I get that. Jerk It Jeff used to drive me fucking crazy because he's not really a gamer. He had a lot of systems, but he'd always want to play. It was either Madden or NFL Blitz. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. So he beats me. And it's you fucking suck at video games, man. No, I don't.
No, I'm actually pretty good at video games.
Well, what can't you do? You can't even score a point on me in this. I don't know. I don't know what the point system is. I don't know how football works. So much less try to play this game that you play all the fucking time.
I mean, the ball's not even round, for God's sake. Come on.
I remember I was playing Final Fantasy VII over at his house. He liked to watch me play that. And I get to Sephiroth, Final Form Sephiroth, and
So you're 2 hours in at this point.
Yeah.
2 hours into the boss battle.
And I have to go to the bathroom or something like that, or my mom calls and I'm away from it for a while. I come back and he has beaten it.
Oh, no.
And then he's like, I
That's
Final Fantasy VII before you did.
Oh, no.
He would say that shit to me I don't speak to him anymore. It's been years since I've spoken to him. And all the way from middle school through college, he was still just man, remember that time we played 7 before you? Fuck you, man.
Dude, get really good at Madden. Get really, really, really good at Madden and call him over here. Have your revenge.
Oh, man. Then I just fucking speak to the guy. I see him on Facebook and shit. I'm just God, I hope I never see you ever again. Because he's just for as good of friends as we are, man, that friendship turned on a dime so quickly because he's always had a holier than thou attitude. So like once he started dating, like going to a new church and dating the preacher's daughter, it was like then it just became next level. Like I'm a sexual person. I'll just let you know that about me.
We don't know that. We don't know that yet.
Sexual
what?
person.
Wait
And
a
like
minute.
I'm in like college, and like I worked as a short order cook at Huddle House, and I'm doing that. He would come up and eat, and like I remember him giving me shit about it, like that I like to finger girls. Just give me shit about it because he didn't think it was very like Christian.
Were you doing it while you were preparing his food?
It's Huddle House, so yeah. That's how you grease a pan. Mabel's back on the table. You just get.
It's always got to be a Mabel, right?
Get some of that maple syrup. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Low melt that you do use to season a pan at Huddle House is like, man, it is not a far cry from like what would be just be. It's so gross. Right? Yeah. I was in his wedding. I was like, I think I hadn't spoken to him in like a year, and then he's getting married, and I think just whoever he needed, like he must have had multiple dropouts. So then he calls me. It's like, okay, I'll go. Like. I go and I'm in it, and the whole process is just awful and uncomfortable. And then, like, he gets married, and then I promptly have not spoken to him since.
Please tell me at some point during the wedding, he like pulled you aside and said, "Okay, how do I finger her?"
I mean, see, he was more
listened.
like he was like creepily aggressive with girls. So for him to suddenly like come at me with this shit, like in college, it's just like. It's not like my goal now, like to do that with a girl. That's like That's not the end game, and then go and high five my friends. Like,
Right.
I'll do that. Wait a few years to talk about it on a podcast and high five everyone on the internet. But I remember, like even then, he was like, "We're going to go to my bachelor party. Don't worry, we're not going to go to a strip club because I know you want to do them."
We're going to Shoney's. All right, calm down.
And it's like, well, one, like, I mean, you don't know how the world works if you're thinking you're going to go to a strip club and just do them. So he's like, I think we're just going to go play poker at my house. Yeah, no, I don't want to be a part of that. So
Or Madden.
I'll see you tomorrow. God, we're going to play Madden for 6 or 7 hours. Yeah, so yeah, after he got married, like, I sat at the reception table by myself while he did, like, all that kind of stuff. And then he came over and we talked about the Gatsbys for a second because he was like, he was really creepy when it came to all the Gatsbys. And that's pretty much all we had left to talk about. Because he, stereotypical, like, God Loves Me More Christian was just, like, extremely judgmental. So he loved to talk shit about them at every vantage point. So that's all we had to speak about.
At any point were you like, dude, I used to hold pornography over my shoulder while you beat off.
Yep. Yeah.
Check yourself. You need to back the fuck off right now.
Oh.
I should have, but he would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That never happened. Never happened.
God forgave me for that. It doesn't even matter anymore. So yeah, he said something shitty about them, and I just like, I'm gonna go. And then like I think I saw him at Ryan's graduation. Like he patted me on the shoulder, and I act like I didn't even feel it, and kept walking. I saw him once at Outback, and he slapped my ass.
Nice.
And like I turned around and like gave him a "the fuck are you?" and then went and ate my steak, and that's it. It's been it.
So I mean, he's totally. We just lost a listener and Jerk It Jeff. I feel like.
God, I would be getting so many like he would hand deliver like Christian tracts, I'm sure, to the house if he ever heard TADPOG. Oh, let's see, Ian. What's something that you think we could do to make TADPOG better?
That's a loaded question. I don't know. Honestly, I laugh. I drive down the road. People probably see me laughing out loud in the car and just think I'm insane. But man, I don't know because I like the way that it is. I don't know that it.
Are we
could
ever
be
too
better.
blue, in your opinion?
No, No. Listen, I'm telling you, man. Maybe we'll do an episode for the Patreon donors or something, and I can really cut loose. But no, trust me.
All right, I just figured out how to get $2, $2 more dollars.
I will up my Patreon if that's what it takes. I don't care. I got $2. I don't care.
No, I figured that if your boys really want to hear it,
They'll both pitch in.
Okay.
that's where those $2 are coming from.
I didn't. I'm a little slow. That's what your listeners are going to take away from this. Is, hey, he's not really bright. He's not a really bright.
Hey, man, you knew about Santa way before me. Clearly took it better.
Never. I think you shouldn't change anything. The only thing I would ever go back and unlisten to, if I could, is some of the Reddit.
Yeah, Trials by Fire.
God.
Which do you think was the worst of the Trials by Fire?
It was the. Oh, I don't even want to say it. I'll say it.
It's all right. We're in a safe place.
I'm afraid I'm going to vomit on your soundboard.
All right,
I do.
I'll cover it up.
The gonorrhea one.
Okay,
yeah.
And I know.
Jolly Rancher.
Yeah. I have heard that one before, I think. But it's never not disgusting.
I think that's the worst one too. Honestly,
it's not. It's been around, I think, a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I heard it 10 years ago, or I mean, it's one of those
Urban legend
things
kind
that
of things.
keeps making the rounds or whatever. But whoever did it is a sick puppy.
it was an episode
nasty.
of Are You Afraid of the Dark, wasn't it?
He has an old bearded man that's in every episode.
That's how they closed the show.
Yeah, that one was probably. I mean, they were all pretty bad. I think I was telling you, Dave. There was one. Refresh my memory. There was the Jolly Rancher. There was the
Swamp to Dagobah.
Yeah.
Cumbox.
I didn't hear that one.
That's the one that really, really got to Soul Sister.
Yeah, Chandra.
Okay.
Chandra has seen some shit, and that got to her. It surprised me.
Was that the dumpster one?
No.
Blowfly Girl.
Blowfly Girl is
and
really
Colby
gross.
are the five.
Okay, I did not listen to Colby. I actually took the advice of the episode. It was so funny because the episode was like, if you don't want to hear this, fast forward to 26 minutes. It's like the really awesome bad edit,
Yeah.
But when I got kind of wind of what that one was going to be about, I skipped it.
Oh, man.
Swamps was pretty disgusting, but I was listening to the Jolly Rancher when I was in the car, and
Eating a Jolly Rancher.
I was eating. No, I was in a car wash. I was trapped. In the finish line car wash out by the mall. I thought I might vomit. I'm in the company car, and I'm like, I might vomit, and I have nowhere to go. I can't open the door. I can't do anything. So yeah, that one was. I wouldn't say to leave it out because I'm sure I'm in the minority. I'm sure a lot of people found that entertaining. And it wasn't that I didn't find it entertaining. I was laughing right along, but I just was like, oh, please stop.
Yeah. That's how I felt reading Blowfly Girl. Like, that one was hard for me to just get back out again, just after reading it out loud.
I think I haven't made it to that one because I skipped some episodes. I went through the N64 list because I knew I was going to be on a couple. I wanted to kind of be in N64 mode. So I think that one's probably coming up for me. I'll probably listen to it. But
man, Blowfly Girl.
Colby I couldn't do because I knew that was going to be a dog thing.
Yeah, Blowfly Girl it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross.
It's pretty gross. But no, never too blue. Just keep up the good work because that's what.
Thank you.
Bluer?
Hear that, Jacob? People like it.
Absolutely. No, it's what I like about it because it's like you can turn on a radio and listen to. So many of my friends listen to WKMS. They listen to public radio, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's just not my thing. And it's so kind of dull. And I don't know. Now you turn on this show, it's entertaining. It's fun.
We are an R-rated NPR podcast. We've been described as that before.
You've been called the poor man's Ira Glass.
Yes, exactly.
You're a borderline NC-17.
I don't know about borderline.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I'm just trying to be delicate here, but
No need.
R is no, that's not enough. R is not enough.
You're right.
But no, never. Don't change a thing. Keep doing what you do. Have me on more.
Okay. That's a
There you
good
go.
answer.
Okay.
Better.
Dave, do you have any questions you thought about? Anything?
I've been asking them as we've gone, and they kind of come up. Off the top of my head, no. Ian, I think you pretty much covered anything that I could think of. Now that we know that the threesome questions are off the table.
Yeah, it's like
only for Patreon. Now,
I could have like wadded up 3 pages, just threw them on my shoulder.
again, we can record this. You can put it out there for Patreon. If my kids are dumb enough, if they really want it that bad, at least then it wasn't accidental.
Then it's like, no, I paid to hear my dad tell sex stories.
Exactly. I have plenty of stories I can regale you with, but not until I know that it was his choice. That way he can opt out.
I'm laughing now, but in 12 years, things might be a little different for me.
How old is Henry?
He'll be 1 in December.
1. Yeah. 22.
So I figure
years from
13's a
now,
good baseline to start listening.
13 is probably like I feel like he won't even figure out podcasts until honestly, I don't even know where podcasts are going to be in 13 years. I have a feeling it's like going to be like one of those things that's just kind of like locked into our demographic, and then like people who are younger than us just never listen to podcasts.
Kind of like talk radio on NPR for my dad, for example.
That's kind of how I feel like podcasts are going to be. I hope
they
not.
held in there pretty well. They held in there pretty well.
I think it depends on. Okay, I think podcasts will have to evolve if driverless cars take over, because right now I feel like podcasts are huge for commuting to work
and at work. I feel like like if you've got a desk job, because that's where I listen to like all of my shows, because I have like an 8-minute commute, so I do listen during my commute. But as soon as I get to work, it's like get my coffee, sit down, open up the projects I have to work on that day, and just put the earbuds in and listen to podcasts.
That's what I do too. If I don't have to leave the desk or go out in the field or something, I'm an IT job, but I'm kind of a middle manager, so I spend a lot of time going through paperwork and making sure, and I spend a lot of time at my desk. So I listen to this show while I'm doing that, and I don't think it's going to go away. You're right; it may have to evolve, but
because I think once like if you don't have to pay attention to the road, like videos and stuff, maybe a thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
a lot of Netflix while we're driving now.
Yeah.
Right.
We could take questions from other people.
We can't.
If you don't mind turning off your
My phone's dead, so I can't do it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it died while we were recording because I had swag bucks running.
Swag bucks. Okay, that's what I thought. So that's how you pick it up. I saw it running while you were sitting there.
No, I looked at it, and then like 2 minutes ago, I looked at it, and it was gone. So sorry, can't do it.
I shit you not. Until about an hour ago, I had a charging cable that fit your phone in my bag. And now
you know what? We've never mentioned this on the show. I don't think that you repair iPads, iPhones.
Yep.
I should say iPads. I don't. You do.
I do iPad and iPhone. Yep.
We've never. Can't believe we've never mentioned that on the show.
Yeah, I guess it never really came up. It's kind of a side gig for me. I make a little extra money on the side doing iPhones. You are best qualified to answer this question. I have, because you mentioned charger cables for this iPhone, which is an old iPhone. This is an iPhone 4. Yeah, dude, we got to get you off of that thing.
What's up with all the charger cables that I have that came with this phone have disintegrated. It's like all the plastic is just completely gone, and it's just this wire.
I think they're set to self-destruct after a while, forcing you to upgrade.
Let you know that it's time to get a new phone.
As I come across phones that need to be repaired or whatever, I get a lot of people that come to me and say, "Do you buy phones?" And now I didn't know what network you were on, but now every time someone asks me if I want to buy a phone, I say, "Well, is it on this network?"
Yeah,
and, whatever. And if it doesn't, if it's not at least a 5 and falls on your network, I won't buy it. But if it does, I'm buying it. It's gonna be yours.
If you heard those cans in the background, it's not a raccoon. It's Tyler hooking me up with a charge.
Nice.
So that I can play some calls and then get immediately back to swag bucks.
No, I mean, I was also going through my garbage, just a trash panda.
The trash panda.
There was some Facebook post that, God, it just made me fucking lose my shit.
A Facebook post?
Yeah,
on trash pandas?
It was just like names for alternate names for animals. And a raccoon was a trash panda. Snake was a nope rope. Oh God!
This made you angry?
It made me laugh. Like God, I just laughed so fucking hard.
I didn't know. I just recently heard Trash Panda.
Yeah, I really
had
love
no
Trash
clue about
Panda.
that is cool.
And I immediately want to say Trash Pandacoot.
That's our horrible Paint version of Crash Bandicoot.
Well,
It's our pornographic MS Paint version of Crash Bandicoot.
Instead of Dolan,
Trash
yeah, we do
Bandicoot.
Trash Bandicoot.
it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's going
10
to take just a
minutes
couple
for that.
seconds. Fine.
Fire
It's
up.
fine.
It's good.
I'll tell you. First time I was here, or second time I was here, I was talking about possibly. I had a number of stories to tell. One of them, which might be just the right amount of time before this, was the parallel parking story. I was going to tell a parallel parking story. It made me think of something straight out of Billy Madison or some Adam Sandler movie. Do you ever watch Adam Sandler
Oh, yeah.
type movies like
I used
Happy
to
Gilmore
a lot
and stuff like that?
until I learned to not trust them.
They always have those. So
Yeah.
I'm in downtown Paducah. And I'm actually a pretty decent driver. I pride myself on being able to drive properly, and I get road rage bad when people around here don't know how to drive. They just don't.
So you get road rage a lot then.
Yes, yes. And somehow we're sandwiched between the two worst driver states in the union.
Yeah. Illinois drivers. Sorry, Illinois listeners.
And
y'all need to learn to
Tennessee.
fucking drive.
Listen, I was born in Nashville, and Tennessee drivers can eat a dick. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean any offense, but
No offense. Eat
you
it.
can eat a fucking dick. I went to St. Louis 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and then
You got
this
me a
past-
nice shot glass.
I
with a
did. I got
penguin
the
on it.
penguin
So,
shot
Dave,
glass and the
thank you for that.
teddy bear flashlight
Yeah.
for Tyler, personalized. I had those done for you. I know a guy. I hooked it up.
Yeah.
Went to St. Louis, we actually went mostly through Illinois, obviously, to get there. So it's a whole time it's nothing but Illinois drivers, which were infuriating. This weekend, I had to go to Nashville, and so I was surrounded by Tennessee drivers. So I just get bad. I get bad road. I drive 90 when I'm on the interstate. I'm 90.
Ooh.
2 solid hours of 90, and people don't get out of their left lane, and they try to pass the truck with, at 1 mile over the speed limit, and I'm just, But anyway,
So it's your fault, is what you're saying.
it's pretty much my
Yeah.
fault.
I get it, because I also speed.
Oh yeah, I can't go slow. in
I
this thing.
I go 5 miles over everywhere I go, but that is it. I
Yeah.
will not go 6 miles over, just 5,
Yeah.
because I've gotten so many fucking tickets. Like I can't fuck with it anymore.
Well, I don't drive like a maniac in town, but on the interstate, to me, it's like it might as well be the Autobahn. I'm gone.
Yeah.
My foot is to the floor, and I'm driving 90 at minimum.
I don't have the option because my car is 15 years old.
Right.
So it's like when it reaches a certain speed, it's like
Starts to shake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, but anyway, having passed my driver's test and knowing how to drive and still remembering the rules of how this all works, parallel parking apparently is still a thing for a lot of people. They don't know how to do it. And this was no more evident to me than I went down in downtown Paducah. You got to parallel park if you want to park.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of parallel parking in Paducah, Kentucky. But now I lived in Lexington for a while. And if you don't know how to parallel park in Lexington, just stay home.
Keep driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll eventually find a parking lot like 8 minutes
10
away.
miles
from
away, right? You have to take a bus.
Yeah.
You actually park farther away from your house than you would. You had to go back past your house to find a parking lot to get a bus to go into Lexington. But not long ago, I was driving in downtown Paducah, and I had to parallel park. And of course, I pulled up, lined up with the car in front, and just went whip. Stuck that bastard right in there and had like this much room on it. I mean, it was the most perfect parallel. I didn't have to It was just.
I've been there. You
I was
like get out of the car and you expect people to be clapping and nodding.
So I get out of the car, and there is this dude standing by the bank where I parked in front of.
Yeah.
And in like it was chilly. He was wearing kind of a trench coat, kind of a scraggly beard. And he just looked at me and gave me the thumbs up.
Nice.
And I was like, I was as proud as I've been in a
Holy
long
shit.
time. And he never said one word to me. He didn't do anything, or we didn't talk about it. He just gave me the thumbs up. It was very Billy Madison, I felt like just some random odd person just Good job, buddy.
You're living the goddamn dream.
I know.
I can't tell you how many times I parallel parked to like Nikki's in the car and she's just silent. It's like, that was really
Did you
good.
not just see what I did?
Can you do that?
This
You
isn't
can't.
sex. Fucking make some expressions.
to have a complete stranger's validation as to my prowess as a parallel parker it made my year. I still think about that. I was like, yeah, that dude knows what's up.
I'd like to get him on the show.
If I could find him, let's bring him. He probably won't have anything else to offer. He'd be like,
That's perfect.
So what were you thinking when you gave him the thumbs up? I mean, he did pretty good parallel parking, I guess. Okay,
All right, thanks for coming
joining us.
on.
There's the
Get the
fucking
I
door.
hope he's a mute. Just shrugs. Pulls out his dick, starts jerking off because he's a crazy person. He was just
Turns
there
out
one
he
day.
thinks cars are dragons.
He was signaling that he wanted to put his thumb in my ass.
And you were like, yeah. He followed you for 4 blocks.
Man, this guy really likes good parallel parking, huh?
All right, thanks for the charger. I got enough charge to play a few calls.
All right.
Here we go. This is from first call from 757.
What's up, Tadpog? It's Adam. You'll never lose me. You'll never lose my love. I don't care how many of my favorite games you crap all over. I'm not going anywhere. I just finished listening to an All-Call show, 2 Paper Mario shows, Manhattan Project, my All-Call show, and then I just finished Star Fox. I had the largest hard-on as I saw my name on your website. It was a gonorrhea-free hard-on, but it was there
Speaking
nonetheless.
of gonorrhea.
It was hard as a Jolly Rancher, I can tell you that. I was so excited. I know that you guys play calls on the show, but I never call so that I'll hear my own voice. I really call just because I love you guys and I want to support the show and just to see, like, my questions and comments and jokes get laughed at and answered and talked about. It's flipping over the moon. So I love you guys, and I'm not going anywhere, I promise. And I just wanted to call in about Star Fox. There's so many other things I could talk about, but I only have 3 minutes, and I want to try to keep it in there. Dave, you had mentioned somewhere in the middle about the Wolf team flying around and putting a bomb in your base.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Pigma and Wolf and Leon. The one you forgot was Andrew,
Yes.
who's a monkey.
Yes.
And he's actually Andros' nephew. I guess that's why his name is Andrew. Andros.
They got a thing in
whatever.
their family. I
I just
get
figured
it.
I'd let you know about that. One of the things that I really liked about this game's multiplayer is when you played with 4 friends, if you were anything like me and my friends, we were diving on the floor to plug our controllers in to pick who was going to be who. Because if you put your controller into the port, it would basically give you that player. First was Fox, second was the freaking rabbit. I can't think of his name right now.
Peppy.
The third port was Slippy, and the fourth port was Falco. And yeah, we all liked Falco because he looked cool. I liked his outfit better than his attitude. But we would all leave our controllers unplugged and then jump down there to pick who was going to be who, because everybody wanted to be Falco and nobody wanted to be Slippy. So I thought that was kind of a cool mechanic that no other Nintendo 64 game that I know of does. So I thought that was pretty cool. And one thing I wanted to bring up to your attention and get you guys to kind of talk about is if you look at, this is really obscure, I know, but if you look at issue number 47 of Nintendo Power, you'll see a picture of Fox McCloud on the cover, and he's got metal legs from the knees down.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, do
There's a lure that all of the Star Fox team has metal legs, but there's no folk behind it. There's no story behind it. And so, with a little bit of research, I've found out this call is going to end.
or signal.
And it ended. Well, we kind of talked about Tyler, because you mentioned the theory that their legs had been cut off that they could be pilots.
Yep. So that the G forces that it has on the effect on the blood in your legs. Yeah, that they had their legs cut off and replaced with metal limbs.
I like that. It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it's because they're animals, but I like it because it's dark. I feel like that was a
They're
line that they
essentially
crossed.
Pokemon. The whole Star Fox world is just the Pokemon world, like 1,000 years in the future, where Pokemon have evolved and taken over for the humans.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Why don't they have a game where Pokemon fly spaceships? I feel like that's
I think they do, though. I think we just established
that's
Star Fox.
fair. Let's see. It looks like we got a call back.
I'm getting so good at calling into TADPOG that I know the second that the phone is about to hang up, because I ended that message with, this call's about to end, and then it ended. So I've gotten really good at this, and I'm so sorry that my messages are all longer than 3 minutes, but
You're gaming the system.
I'm sure other listeners feel this way, but when you listen to TADPOG as much as you do, you feel like you're friends with you guys. Like, I feel like I'm your friend, and I feel like I'm sitting in the car talking games with you guys, and so it's easy to ramble on and talk about that stuff with you. So, again, I'm sorry that my messages take so long. They're not as hot and sexy as Sandra's, so I'm sorry. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Star Fox seems to have metal legs, and there's no backstory. Like, there's nothing I can find through Nintendo that says why, but all the research I do online as to why a pilot would have no legs, I've just read some things. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe you guys can talk about it or I've heard of it. Pilots would this is skeptical, but pilots would voluntarily have their legs amputated and given prosthetic legs because pilots without legs were able to handle more G-forces than pilots with legs. Mm-hmm. Because what happens in G-force is all the blood rushes from your head down to your extremities, and that causes you to black out and then crash your plane and die. If you have no legs, that enables you to keep more blood in the top half of your body and cause you from not passing out. So I don't know if that's true or if that's why Star Fox and all of his members have metal legs. But I just wanted you guys to kind of look into that and talk about it. And the question I have for you is, if you were going to have something on your body amputated and left metal, what would you do? I know a lot of people's probably first thought is my dick, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, I get it.
So you guys talk about it. My answer would be, I think I would have legs. Like, I think I'd have my legs chopped off and get metal legs because I could pick up all I wanted to be, and I feel like I could run for a really long time without getting tired, and I think that's going to be cool. So,
your lungs, though. You still got to worry
love
about
to hear
lungs.
what you guys would get made into metal. I'm going to call back as soon as you guys have another episode, I promise. I would love to send you handwritten fan letters, so maybe that'll happen one day. I love you guys. Call you soon.
We love you too, Adam.
We love you too. Thanks for calling.
I choose 100% to believe that's why that Star Fox and his crew, that's why they have metal legs. 100%. That's what I believe.
They spend all their time in those ships. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they live in those ships.
They never should have gotten out of those shows.
Never.
And something, if they can still like function as they're supposed to function, maybe not all of my legs, but like my knees.
Just your knees?
Maybe just my knees.
Why just your knees?
One, if they still function properly, maybe they won't wear out. And like, it's always so uncomfortable if I have to get on my knees for any reason, or if I fall down and hit my knees for any reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I give a lot of blowjobs, and if I had metal knees, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
Plus, it makes a really cool sound when you drop to your knees. They're made out of metal. Get ready.
You know what's coming.
It's all these dicks. I've got really bad upper body strength, so I would want Jax's arms from Mortal Kombat.
That's what I was going to say.
I feel like that would be really, really good.
Arms.
Yeah.
But I would want my hands maybe to stay.
Oh, I think that'd be creepy, right? I get it, though. You want to be able to feel. Right.
But
you have to give it up.
About the,
you have to, because
they can't reattach the hands.
I'm sure they could, but it's on these little rotors and spin around. You're just creeping people out.
Maybe if it was some kind of living metal type thing, where I could feel still.
Look, we get living metal. I want my whole fucking body done.
Or you could go the Destro route and have your head made metal.
Yeah, I'm as far as Shadowrun goes. we were talking about this the other day because it's like in the game Shadowrun, you can have all these implants, these cybernetic implants, and like body mod stuff going on. And the more you do, the less human you become. You lose humanity. Just fucking strip all my goddamn humanity. I don't give a shit. Make me a fucking robot. I don't care.
But a self-aware,
I got to have some kind of like
decision making. You've got to be.
I got to be in there.
You've got to be able to take some enjoyment from wreaking havoc on the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I would. I would. Yeah, if I didn't have this flesh body that I'm stuck in. Yeah, you bet.
So you just go full Cylon and get it.
It would be like Ultima Online in the real world.
It'd be a real world.
You guys would be
PK.
crafted. I'd just be murdering people outside your houses.
We'd be making the things for you to murder people
Yes,
with.
thank you. Thank you.
So you feel just increasingly a little more like detached and uncaring about everything around you, but
Yeah.
awesome, perfect.
But yeah, no,
Perfect.
it's great. It's perfect. I don't have to I don't have to feel anymore.
I like
just,
that-
I can just be a thing that kills.
There is a character in the Shadowrun Dragonfall game that basically does that.
Yeah.
That is her.
Is
That
his
is her
his name
backstory. It's you find Robot Dave, which is like I feel too much. It had to stop.
Now I kill you. Now I touch boobs.
I was always really fond of the Wolverine thing.
The claws? Or the whole skeleton?
Skeleton
Yeah.
being covered in
I thought about the skeleton.
adamantium. Mm-hmm. I would think that would be probably what I would like to. I mean, I don't know if that counts. You know, he
I
says
think it
cut
counts.
something off and get it replaced with metal.
Just cut your bones off.
Cut your bones
Cut
off.
your bones off.
Yeah, just cut your bones off.
Peel the skin off.
Yeah.
Put it on new bones made out of metal. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Unless Magneto was real, and then
Which we all know he is.
we know he is. And because it bothered me, like in the most recent Wolverine movie, or the most recent X-Men movie where the Days of Future Past.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
know.
well, I don't want to spoil anything for you then. But there was something to do with that in there that kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
With the metal, I always thought that was. If I had to pick superpowers, that would be. I think I would want to be Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way, he doesn't die, he regenerates. He's made out of metal on the inside.
I loved Wolverine as a kid because I was a short kid and
Right.
Wolverine was short.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right,
And
there's
he
my
just
guy.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody, like whatever superpower you would pick, is like a personality test
Yeah.
as to especially what your reasoning is as to why you'd want that power.
I know that's really popular employment screening.
Superpower.
Yeah.
That
that's
actually would be a good question to ask of a potential hire. What would be your superpower? But
Marvel or DC? DC, get the
get
fuck
the
out.
fuck out of here.
What are you doing?
But I have plenty of the DC that I like just fine. I don't like. Well, I'll watch some of the shows and the movies and stuff like that. I mean, it's like you said though. It's a good litmus test. If someone says, "I'd be Superman," well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be Superman because then everybody would be out to get me. Because it's like, well, this guy's too powerful. He's gonna take
Yeah.
us over. And I think that's a theme in this movie coming up. This Batman v Superman. Now I want to be able to stay off the radar. Like Wolverine does. He just kind of keeps to himself, or at least he did for the longest time. He just sort of lives his life and does his own thing. Drinks a lot, surly. Everybody scared of him, kind of thing. But he didn't have to worry. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about things like getting shot in the head. Mm-hmm. Yes, it hurts, but no, it's not going to kill me, and I'll be just fine.
Are you normally worried about getting shot in the head?
You've seen where I live? No, I'm not typically. I mean, maybe I guess if I get shot in the head and survive it, I probably worry a lot about it from that point on. But I just think it's cool. I think that would be my pick, my skeleton.
Okay.
Skeleton's good. I almost went there, honestly. I did almost go there, but I couldn't pass up the arms, man.
Especially if people
Jack's
could
arm's
see it,
pretty
because
good.
people would be intimidated as fuck.
I think
if you
it'd be-
walking around with metal arms.
Yeah, I think it'd be really funny, like if the arms are just like enormous, because they would look ridiculous on me if I had like real man arms. If I had like real man arms on my body.
It's kind of like flabby, like got freckles on them, just metal arms. I mean, yeah, you want the Ripley Colossus arms, not like just like human arms, like stretch marks on the
like,
inside.
They are. They're metal. They look fucking real, but I don't know.
And dare people in the winter to stick their tongue to your.
I dare you to lick my arm.
Come on.
None of us chose dick. I like that. You got to be able to feel.
No, you wanna feel.
Yeah. There's no hiding it either. I think that's probably. I mean,
You have like a lever or something.
yeah, you know, it's
Or it's
there, but
detachable.
maybe
You could unscrew it and put it, set it somewhere.
you could like replace it with others depending on the situation.
We got time for more calls? Not really?
Probably
Okay.
not.
All right.
So, thanks for coming on, Ian. Thanks for doing your interview.
Thanks for
I
having
enjoyed
me.
it.
Yeah, dude.
I tried to be as lackluster as possible, live up to my mantra.
I feel like I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun
I did too.
recording this.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. So don't miss the next episode. Probably small calls. Probably taking more calls.
We got a bunch. We got to hear from Adam a whole bunch.
Perfect. We need to set up a PO box at some point.
Yeah, we do. I've received something in the mail. So
Okay.
don't even bother coming up with an intro for next show.
Okay.
We'll
Perfect.
just open mail.
Love it.
Oh, and speaking of mail, I don't have time, but I do have another letter from John Turley. So maybe next time I'll bring it and read it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to write it. I haven't written him back for this one yet, but I'm going to write him and tell him as soon as he has access to a phone, he needs to call TADPOG.
Oh, please.
And if we can find out that he's called, maybe skip to his
Oh,
call
yeah,
and
yeah.
play it. I would
Yeah,
love
yeah,
to,
absolutely.
love to hear what he would say. Probably fuck you guys for putting my address on the internet. That was a point in the last letter that I have not
Yeah.
yet read. John said, "Please take my address out of there." sorry, dude. So sorry for that.
We'll give his home address now. Next
Yeah,
time.
it's
It'll
fine.
be fine.
Yeah, it's cool.
Since he's at basic, it ends with his parents. We want John, whenever he comes back, just to have just a lot of random mail at his house waiting for him.
All the cum boxes.
So many
so
cum
many.
boxes. A cum box care package sent to John. So I'll have that. iTunes, still the biggest marketplace. We got another 5-star review. It hasn't come in yet. I just saw that we got one.
So the star is showing up, but the written review isn't?
Right. Normally I'll see that, and then next day it'll pop up.
Gotcha.
So we got one, and whoever it is, thank you.
Thank you, person.
so very much. We love it. Helps us out. Please subscribe. Give the show a 5-star rating. Write a review. We try to you help us out. We help you out. So if there's an idea for a show, a
Yeah.
game for a show,
Yeah.
a guest host for a show.
Sure.
If you want us to stop doing it entirely, give us a 5-star written review and say, stop doing the show.
I mean, we won't, but
I mean, eventually.
eventually, yeah, eventually you're right.
Eventually,
We absolutely
Tadpog will.
No,
end.
Tyler. No. I'll be a robot. You can be some kind of lizard mutant or something, and then we can
Head in
continue
a
the
jar
show
and
forever.
everything.
It could be Hackpog, and Henry and Kenna could just take over.
We
Figure that's
bestow-
better than Copog, so Hackpog.
That's a weird mantle they've got to take up.
Yep, yep. I'll leave them all of my notes about my dick. just tomes.
Tyler's
Read
dick
through.
tomes.
Your Mother and My Sexual Escapades, Volume 1. This will get you at least 10 podcasts.
This will work. You guys just work on this material until you figure out your own thing. You got 10 episodes to figure out your own thing.
We assume you'll be friends. We hope you are. If not, this will make you friends. So please do that. Whatever you put on there, we promise we will get to it eventually.
Don't worry, guys. Like Tyler said, we're going to be back. We're going to be taking some calls. In the meantime, you can always find us on tadpog.com. That's where the show notes live. I'm going to at least have one show note link to a Scotch egg. You can look at a Scotch egg and think about how fucking delicious it is. We didn't talk about shepherd's pie. I might throw a link of that in there too, just because I
yeah.
like it. You can also find us on Facebook. We are at facebook.com/tadpog. There's a lot of cool people there doing a lot of cool shit. Thanks for sharing your opinions on there. I think it's really awesome that we've got people on the site or on Facebook on our page talking about the show. So that's neat. I like that. You can find us on Twitter. We are at tadpog_podcast. It's cumbersome. I realize. Thank you to everybody on Twitter who is retweeting us, especially our episode announcements, because that helps spread the word. So thank you very much. You can call us if you want. If you want to be like our beloved Adam, you can call us at 270-883-2555.
That should be his title.
Beloved Adam.
Our beloved
Adam. Fair. Okay. I think we're done. Finally, we've got a Patreon. We just recently, just this past Friday, Tyler got Zork Part 2, a continuation of our playthrough with Josh and Nicole. He got that edited. So thank you, Tyler. I know that was kind of a crunch. But we got it up Friday. So if you're a donor, you've got an extra episode to listen to.
I've got mine.
And if you're not a donor, I don't know, become a donor, and then you can listen to us stumble through the rest of Zork. I shouldn't say the rest of Zork, but you can listen to us stumble through Zork till we give up.
Yep.
Don't bother. I'll just torrent it out.
I feel like we've made it. If you can find TADPOG on a torrent, we're like, that's it.
Yeah, if I find our
We did
Patreon
it.
episodes on Pirate Bay, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
We have
If I could take that money out of my pocket, I love it.
I guess that's it, unless I'm forgetting anything. Ian, thanks again for being on the show, man.
My pleasure. Anytime I can, I will be here.
I know you had to like make some arrangements to be here, so I'm glad that you did.
Not a problem. I love it here. Can I move in?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why, if you can just get rid of your butthole and not have to use the bathroom, then Annex is perfect.
Yeah. Right there's a bed. Yeah, it's great.
Or just like I do, just
Ooh,
pee in cups.
metal butthole.
Metal butthole. Yeah. So how would that work? Is it always open?
It's like doors in Star Trek. Just and just sadly, whenever anybody gets close to it, that's when it opens up. Ian, our theme song.
Moves.
By whom?
Sycamore Drive.
And a link to that track can be found where?
The show notes at tadpog.com.
Nailed it.
All right.
How should we close this out?
Don't look at me. I never know.
Civil War soldiers?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or Meg, do you have any ideas?
No.
Okay, so Civil War soldiers.
Civil War
it is.
soldiers. Got it. Look, let's close it as 3 guys with metal buttholes
Civil
who are also Civil War soldiers.
So until next time, Tropical Capricorn. My butthole. My hardtack is coming through my metal butthole.
Millicent, help. There's no music here.
There are no buttholes here. You're wrong. The British office is not better than the American office. The British office is like better than the last 3 seasons of the American office.